Yay! I'm
Yeah.
excited.
So we get to see what cracks our other friends is like, so how was it? I mean, it was cool. We hit it off. Maybe maybe we might get tea again to talk again. I don't know.
Yes, yes. I want you first to introduce yourself and then I'll go right in, right
Yeah.
after you and start asking you questions.
All right, so I'm Rick Herrera. I'm an actor, writer, storyteller, husband, father. I wear many different hats, and depending on the day, I get to choose which one I wear. So, positive person, love spreading love, and super creative.
Thank you so much. Yes. We're going to dive into a lot of things today because first of all, let's just tell them how we met because this is hilarious. I mean, it's not hilarious, but it's how things should be, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, okay, so
I'm gonna hear
I
your
started,
version, and then I'll tell my version.
and then you tell me, yeah, because I wonder how you even found me, but right, like I'm not even that big. Okay, so I guess I started following you. You started following me, and I started seeing a lot of the stuff that you were posting, but I also like was like lurking on your
Yeah.
on your channel, and I was noticing, oh, he does comedy. I love comedy. We'll talk about comedy in a minute because I'm a big comedy fan. So definitely something we need to kind of touch on at some point. But yeah, so I guess I started following you. Then I started realizing how cool you were. Like you do a lot of the things that me and my friends used to do when we were in high school. And that is art, right? Being able to be an actor, being able to be a storyteller, stand in front of the camera, be on top of the stage. And I was like, man, this guy really reminds me of the cool people I used to hang out with when I was younger. And I know when life happens, we all kind of drift apart a little bit. I just had this feeling like if I reach out to this guy, he's just gonna be like someone I knew since I was like in high school. And then
We would have definitely been friends in high school.
we would have been friends.
Eric and Joe, all the beautiful
Uh,
would have been part of that group.
like seriously. And you probably would have known all of my friends as well because they were all musicians. They were all great artists. I have friends that were doing YouTube skit before YouTube was even a thing to do skits on, before even Instagram. And so when I saw your Instagram, I was like, okay, this is two things can happen. I reach out, tell him, hey, come on on my
Yeah.
YouTube channel. Let's have a chat. Let's talk about art. Let's create a community. Or you'll just ignore that message, like most people that I have reached out to.
I hate that. Just say yes or no.
Hate it. We'll
I
talk
hate
about
these
that. I
highly.
hate that.
We gotta get to that. Put that in your notes. We should
No,
get it.
actually, let's talk about it right now because we're
Oh yeah,
talking about how
we're
we.
getting it right now. Let's do it right now. Fuck that. Okay, we're tired of you guys not answering back. Say yes.
God,
No.
you just
Give a heart. Give a thumbs down. Something, please. We are here to
you
talk.
heard that.
We got mouths. Use it. Use it. Use your tongue. Use the glands. Use whatever throat muscles that helps us to produce volume. Say something, please.
Like people just want to like look at your videos or like and send you a whole bunch of reels, but nobody wants to have a conversation. And it's kind of annoying. But when it comes down to reaching out to people, yes, it is fun and frustrating when you are trying to do something that's lighthearted, that is wholesome, and people just kind of like ignore you because you don't have a million subscribers or you don't have millions of followers, which I find it kind of like ridiculous. Like, how do you think you're
Yeah.
gonna get to those places if
So
you
shallow.
don't start platforming yourself or working with others that already have that kind of stage set for you and start, putting your stuff out there. You got to start somewhere. You cannot just be like, oh, I have to be on fucking, I don't know, Theo Vaughn's podcast or some shit.
Yeah, and how about I agree with you 1,000,000%. How about like take the fucking ego out of the way and just, help out someone or just have a conversation. Cause guess what? At one point you had 5 followers, 10 followers, or wherever the case was. At one point, motherfucker, you was inside of a belly and you came out, you was a baby, and you know what I'm saying? So you was, they named you and then you had to learn to become something to learn from other people around you. It's just annoying. It's a pet peeve of mine. I still continue on, right? I don't let that shit be my shit. But I hope that we can be in a place of like, just say yes, no, or maybe. Because we can use our words. That's what we're here for. Like to communicate.
Or at least respond back with something like, you know what, I would love to, but I have all these other ones that are a little bit, more, I don't know, more established and I need to get those out of the way, but I would like to give you time.
Fuck that response to it. More established. What is that? Because what? You know,
Hey, I'd rather you keep it 100 with me and tell me like, hey, I have these other more priority stuff to get out of the way, but I want at least it's a response and it's an honest one, and
right.
at least I could sleep at night.
You know what? I can agree with you up to the part of like it's still shitty to say because
It
that's
is.
HR. That's HR wording, right? Because then Because then when we
Sorry,
read it,
it's the corporate girl in me. We'll
yeah,
talk about where I ended up.
that's the corporate shit that we've been in and we're reading it. But deep down, our hood New York City shit, we know what that means. It means you ain't shit. You got no followers. I don't want to waste my time. So it's like, bruh,
So messed up.
yeah. So it's like, no, don't even say that. Just be like, at this time, I'm so booked, but we can
Yeah.
circle back at a later time. I'd rather accept that, even though I know circling back, you may not circle back, but that's okay.
That's true. That's true. I'll get back to you or something like that. But that's even worse because now you're just like, now you're just waiting. So that's why I'm saying, like, honesty, think about, think about looking at your phone, like,
He circled back like 5 times, but he didn't say anything. He's still circling back, but he didn't say nothing.
and next thing you know, you're texting or sending a message 5 times. Like, no, I rather for you to rip off the bandage and let me know who you really are
Right.
because that allows me to at least be like, okay, next, I scratch you off my list and the next
And
person.
you know what? I did the same thing. And to those people who do that, cool. That's the way you want to do it. That's fine. It's not going to stop me to do what I got to do, and I'm gonna keep moving forward. And
Exactly.
and it's just showing me who I'm going to be aligned with. Because when I did the podcast with my wife, there's been people that I was surprised that they said yes because they had some status.
Wow.
Because they
Ooh,
had some status, and I didn't know them from a favor from nothing. I just did.
mándalo pa-
Right. I did. I will. I will. Had a media package that we sent, and then we had some that was like, "Bruh, I used to do comedy with you. You got some status now." I ain't say it like that, but I was like, "Hook me up with this appearance, please." Hey, give me 20 minutes, just 20. We usually do an hour. You know what? 10. Just say hello. How about 1 minute? Say hello. But yeah, I was surprised, and that's the nature of the game. You people that you're gonna be aligned with, but it will surprise you.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's the things that that kind of rejection you have to kind of like just accept it. This is why I wanted to have this chat was because I want people to know what that looks like, right? When you are able to connect with a
Mhm.
person that you have either something in common with, or you don't even have to have something in common with. It could just be an interesting person that you have tons of questions about, and you want to platform them because they are doing things that for you is positive and it's shit that needs to be out there in the world. I want you to tell me how you got started with all of this. Like, how did you knew you wanted to do comedy? How did you know you want to be a storyteller? I saw your show, so we are going to talk about that. So thank you for sending me that link. I got, I got, I got things I want to say. That I connect with that. Can't wait to see your show in October because that to me was better than many things I've seen.
Mm,
So,
thank
but
you.
we'll talk about that. But first, how did you get started in all of this?
It's funny how every time I kind of like, not every time, it's not like people like reach out to me, so tell me more. But the people who have asked me that questions, I always love that question because like it takes me back, right? Because it could be like 3 hours I could be here, but I always trying to find the root and the source of where it started. And to me, I always was this like funny type person, right? Especially in my household, and then going to school, being like the class clown, being funny, watching television and trying to emulate what I was watching. But
Oh, yeah,
that
we
was
would have been
already
friends.
right, right. So like that was already kind of like inside me, and then I would just naturally just do it. It wasn't until I would say high school where I guess like I started realizing like I was a 80 student up to like my second year. I was like 80, yeah, I was in like 81, 82. I was an 81, 82 student, right? So the first, it's all gonna make sense. So the first 2 years I was like about my studies. 80 to me was great, right? My mom was like, "Oh, Ricky, you can always do better." But I'm like, eh. Once I hit like the end of my second, my when I hit the third year, this is when they start talking about college and stuff like that. And then I was like, well, I don't know if I'm going to college. And I was like, what? No, you got to go to college because that's the next thing in line. I said, I'm poor. I don't know if I can afford it. And it was like, yeah, that's the reason you should go because you get financial aid. So I was like, okay. So I was like, but you got to pick your grades up a little bit more. I was like, no, I'm good with the 80 average because I found out that even if I just did the minimum, and I crack jokes every day with my friends for the third and fourth year, I still can go to college with a 75 average because the colleges I was looking into, they was accepting between 70 and 75 and around there. So that's the comedic brain, that's the smart brain, right? Of
Your
you realize,
logic is
yeah,
amazing.
right. Like that all started uh like making sense to me. And I started mapping it out. I was like, yo, so if I go to school, treated to hang out, get minimum 65 to 70 with the test, I still will graduate. But most importantly, I get to crack jokes every day. This would feel like a comedy club every day with my friends. So me and my two other friends, that's all we did every day. They had a
Like the
crew.
math is mathing for me.
Right. That's all we and first of all, right, Anna, I didn't have expectations to go to college. But now they telling me and helping me that I could go because I'm poor. And I can get EOP, I can get grants. And I'm like, yo,
Programs.
you want this for me? That's great. So I'm gonna satisfy your dream and I'm still go to college. and I'm still gonna crack
Yeah,
jokes. So I'm
exactly.
getting two dreams for the price of one. So
Exactly.
so in high school,
So when you knew that you were not gonna be in the sciences, you were like, "You know what? Imma do enough just to get in the arts."
right, right. I didn't care about none of that. All the tests. I didn't care about award, valedictorian, honor roll. No, I just cared about who we cracking jokes on. Where can we do like some skits? What teachers and all my teachers, we cracked jokes, but we were respectful. All my teachers, every time when my mom went up there, it was like he could do so much better, but he's a great person. He's a great student, and he makes us laugh. That was the biggest thing. I wanted. All my teachers loved me. So even if they were technically was supposed to fail me if I didn't make it. It was like,
Okay, we're
we
gonna
gonna,
give you a pass.
yeah, we gonna give him a 70 because come on, he comes every day. He put
We're
in
gonna
work.
curve it.
He was not perfect. He put in these works for these jokes. He makes us laugh and feel good. He got good energy. Let's give him a 7. So it started really heavily there. And then it wasn't until that I got into college, which was another it also helped me because I got into a major for like script writing and all that stuff.
Where did you go to college if you did like
Buffalo State College.
oh, you went to Buffalo State.
Yeah.
What were you doing in Buffalo?
So
Go to CUNY. That's what everybody does when they're from Brooklyn and the Bronx.
okay, so so here's the catch. I was like, I'll go to college and I'll apply to everything you do, but you got to get me away from my mom in Brooklyn because at that time
Okay.
I was like, I wanted a new environment, right? I love my mom and I love Brooklyn, but I know that if I went to college in New York, it's still gonna feel like high school. It's still gonna feel like my mom. Ricky, what you doing? Coming home late. Ricky, who was that? Ricky, did you eat? I didn't want none of that. I
Are
wanted
you
to
an only child?
no, my mom had 2 other ones, but she had me late at 41, 42. So I was the
Okay,
baby.
okay.
So after a
All right.
while, to this day, she's 80 years old. I'm like,
You're a
"Did you eat?" I'm
baby.
like, "Yes, I ate." "Ricky, it's snowing over here. Is
Yo,
it snowing over there?" "No, it's Arizona." "Oh, you don't get snow?"
so describe your mom so vividly. I was like, I want to know this lady so she could talk to me like that. I need to be I need to be straightened up. I'm too lazy sometimes.
Yeah, everybody, so funny, everybody loves her, and rightfully so. She's a great woman, pain in the ass, but a great woman. But when they meet her and she starts talking, they instantly go like this, and they look at me as like, you do her so just like her. You mimic her just that's her. That's her. So they like already she's a fan to them. And so they see the connection and like, yo, you got her to a T. So people already know her as if they see her for the first time. And which is great, right? Because I always, my mom had a tough upbringing and stuff like that. So even
Is she the Dominican or the Puerto Rican one?
she's
Because I
Puerto
know
Rican.
you have. Okay.
Yeah, she's Puerto Rican. So it's like it gets to keep my mom name alive, her antics alive, and even when she, God forbid, passes on, like get to still bring her with me to these shows to shine a light of who she is and was and stuff like that. And people, so yeah, and people get to relate to her. Like, yo, my mom was like that too. So yeah. So long story
Absolutely.
short,
Absolutely.
it wasn't until after college that I got hurt and with my knee, and then the people I was catching up to, like my high school friends, I think it was my second year of college, and everyone was asking me, "Yo, I'm doing good, but how about you? Did you do comedy? Did you do comedy? Did you do comedy?" Everyone. And at that time, I hurt my knee and I couldn't really walk. I had to learn how to walk again because I had to get knee surgery. I tore my ligament, and I was miserable. Right? I was smelling like ass. I had a beard. I was just depressed because I'm like, I'm here with my mom. She's busting my balls every day. I can't do anything. And I literally was like, all right, I think I gotta do comedy or something, right? It just because at the time I was messaging everybody. And
You were
everybody
using it as an outlet? That's
I
how
would
it got started?
I used it as a way to help me start walking again, to get out the house.
Wow.
So, that day I prayed and I said, "Listen, I know and I believe in a higher power. I don't believe in the Jesus and God, which is fine. It's all the same source. It's all going to the same thing, but I believe in a higher power. I'm more spiritual." At that time I prayed and I remember my prayer. I'm gonna paraphrase. I said, "If you help me walk again at a fast rate and you get me out of this damn house, I will do comedy. And I will look to see how can do comedy, but you gotta help me. You gotta speed up this recovery." Because I'm getting all these messages and signs that I've been already like putting on the back shelf because I was afraid. And I'm like, I don't know if I could do it. I know I'm funny with my friends, but I don't know if I could do it. So I remember I did the prayer, and then literally, like it was like Rocky. I was training and working toward this moment, and then I got to a place that I was able to walk with just a little limp because I'm still doing the recovery, the rehab,
Okay, the rehab.
and I got to a place where I'm able to do it where I don't have a cane now. And then I remember I was like, oh shit, I gotta do comedy now because now I'm able to walk. Well, maybe I could just put it to the back burner. And I heard a voice inside of me. It was like, no, 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 no. We had a deal. So then that same day, once I got to a place I could walk, I started looking on Google, open mics, comedy. And then I found someone named Sergio Chicong, who I'm still friends with. He's a great comedian. He was like, "Yeah, man, you should come do comedy, but before you do like it's called a bringer show, where you do you're on the lineup, but you gotta bring friends and family to the show. That's how the comedy clubs make money. That's how the producers make money. You'll be on the lineup, but it's called a bringer show. You gotta bring friends and family." So he said, "Yeah, I could put you on a lineup for the following month. But let me tell you something. Look into doing a couple open mics first." And I'm like, "What's an open mic?" The open mics is where you go pay $5 for 5 minutes, and you with other comedians, and you just working out. That'll get you comfortable just being on stage for the first time. So he hooked me up with another guy named Pudge, Uncle Pudge, we called him. He was dope. He had an open mic, and I
And that
said
was
that
still in New York, right? You
was
hadn't
all in
yet
New
moved
York.
to Arizona. Okay, that was
Yeah,
all
that
New
was all
York.
New York. I was like 20. I had to be like 23 around there, 23, 24.
Wow.
And I do it. I do the open mic first. Is And when I get there, I was nervous. And I remember my friend went there. One of my friends came with me, and then the guy goes on the stage, Pudge. He goes, "Guys, we got a special treat. We got someone who's going about to do comedy for the first time ever. He's gonna need a lot of love. He's gonna need a lot of support. He is being born right now. So I want everybody to give him all the love and hand claps. Everybody meet Rick Herrera." And everyone claps. And I remember like just feeling the energy. And then I went up there. I said my first joke. Of course, it was about my mom. I hear this laugh, and then I blanked out for the rest. But
My God.
because it was
You were
my
like, I don't remember the
right. Yeah, and then I don't know after that laugh, I don't know what else I said, but I remember hearing the laugh, and I remember hearing and telling myself within, this is where I'm supposed to be, and this is what I wanna do." Like, it was just like
story.
it was just a confirmation, and the rest was history, right? I kept on doing it, then I went to Buffalo, kept on doing it, but then the word comedy and the arts of comedy just took me so many different places, because then it went to, I wanna act, I wanna write, I wanna do improv, I wanna do poetry.
This was amazing. And I do want to talk about your show. So I
Yeah,
don't want to forget that. But
girl, we got a
because
whole
this
bunch
is
of
a
time. This is
perfect,
gonna be
this
5
is a
hours.
perfect transition. Made up with child. You know how much editing that is? I'm a one woman show too, just by the
Yeah,
way. Ricky, like that sounds like an amazing story. So, okay, so you went through this rehab and you were kind of going through this recovery. You motivated yourself to keep doing the comedy. You did it. You had like this almost like a trance moment and you realized, okay,
right,
this is what I want to do. And then you
right.
took it a step further. You started writing, you started telling stories, you started writing poems. I want to talk about like, so how did you start your research? Like who were the people you started following, right? Because you have to be a fan of like either a poem that you read or an actor that you like. Like who are these people that you
So
started to then follow and be like, okay, now that I
I
know I want to do this, who I aspire to
I
be?
think it goes even before that, right? It goes back to
Wow.
living in the projects where, there was a great
I was
community.
raised in the projects, roaches and rats.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Right? It was like the community around me that was good and bad, right? And
Yeah.
my mom being overprotective didn't allow me to go outside a lot because of the dangers of what could happen, right? With the gangs or whatever and stuff like that. So one of my first best friends before I met Carlos, who lived in the building, but one of my first best friends was the TV. And on that TV, it was literally watching Martin, it was the Martin show, Wayne's Brothers, Jamie Foxx,
Praise Martin. That was my shit.
the Wayans brothers, the Jamie Foxx
Yes.
show, Full
Yes.
House,
Yes.
Family Matters, and all these things. I was
Yeah.
absorbing it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so funny. And sometimes I would do these things, those things that I saw in school, and it would get laughs. So
Yes.
it was inspiring.
Okay, so we are best friends. In
Exactly.
another
Yeah,
lifetime, you and I went to the high school.
yeah,
I went to your wedding.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I'm the godmother to your kid.
yeah. We fam. I know there was a
Yo,
reason we was
everything
connected.
you're saying is exactly my experience. But go ahead.
So I was experiencing all this. It was molding me, right, from comedy, and realizing that I got a sense of humor. And at times, I would, do those things in school. So those things influenced me. But it wasn't until it was like I didn't know what per se what it was. I didn't know that this was a quote unquote job or profession. It wasn't until I watched my friend Carlos said, because we love Eddie Murphy, and one day he said, and we love his movies like Coming to America, all that stuff. And he was like, "Yo, he does stand up, right?" Oh, so back to that, I saw Eddie Murphy and Saturday Night Live, all the tapes, not live, but like I
Yeah.
wasn't there, but my brother
No, I'm saying that's
had all these
amazing because I have an Eddie Murphy record.
right. See,
I love
we
it.
here. So my brother had all these VHSs of when he was on SNL, and I remember like dying laughing. I'm like, I had to be like 12 or 11. It wasn't until probably like a year later around there, Carlos, my best friend, he was like, yo, you know, he does stand up, right? And I'm like, what's stand up? He was like, we're to go up there. He's a comedian. He goes up and tells jokes. And it's like, I remember watching a little bit Raw, and it was called Raw.
So good. One of my
Had,
favorites.
my
One of the
brother,
best stand-ups of all time.
right.
One of the best.
So he's like, my brother had, I remember watching the tape. So I'm like, oh, okay. So this is the time of LimeWire. I
Where you
download
used to get your computer all the disease.
Yeah, yeah. My shit had AIDS, all the STDs, cancer, COVID. Before COVID came out, it had it. It had all of it. My computer had it first.
Yo, the computer had COVID first because of LimeWire.
So,
LimeWire
uh,
had Lyme disease. It had
yep.
everything.
So I downloaded Raw and I downloaded Delirious. So the first thing I
Nice.
downloaded first was Delirious. And I went in order because I found out through the internet that Delirious came out first. So I downloaded Delirious, not knowing what I'm about to experience. I just know that it's Eddie Murphy and he's going to tell jokes on stage. So then I watch it and he's in the red suit, of course.
Yes.
And I can remember
Classic.
crying, laughing at the bit about James Brown. Everything was great, but that James Brown bit that he did, I'm hunched over, dying, laughing, crying, and keep on going, rewinding back to that same part so I could keep from dying from laughter. And I remember thinking, wow, this is stand up. I would like to do stand up. I remember the innocence of like, I would like to do that one day. And it was like the seed was planted from there. So
So what you're telling me basically is like you already had all the references. The issue is you didn't know this is something you wanted to do until you got on that stage and
I didn't know,
realized
yeah,
this is why I loved all these people my
yeah.
entire life. It was
And
because
I don't know
deep
what
down inside I wanted to do that.
and I didn't know what was the path, right? Because we both grew up in
Exactly.
immigrant household. My dad he came from DR. My mom came from Puerto Rico, so they're from the United States. But we came from a Spanish household that was like, your dream
Exactly.
is to get a 9 to 5 job. That's the dream.
Exactly.
We came here with
Exactly.
nothing, so you need to do a 9 to 5 job. You didn't come here just to act, to do jokes, because we don't
Wait,
know
so
what
your
that is.
mom was telling you she doesn't want you to like do music, so she was like, I don't want you to do
My
music. I
mom
want you to get a
wasn't
serious
my
job.
mom in the beginning, my mom wasn't as supportive because this world to her was new, right? This world to her was new. So she was like, okay, you could do music, but that won't last forever. You could do comedy, but that won't last forever. Everything was, but it won't last forever. But a 9 to 5 job with benefits, health insurance, all that stuff, that's forever. That's what you need because that is the goal and dream that they had when they came over here with nothing.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
they rip
Yeah.
they no they that world and you can't there was a time I was angry at her for that. But I had to put
Yeah.
myself in her shoes. Her world was this much. And within that world was take care of your kids, be a good mother, do the best that you can, make sure you give them food, make sure they get a good job. That's was the world that she was in. Here I am being around other people and I'm seeing my world expanding that like, okay, my mom taught me this about what the world is. But I'm realizing it can be this if I go after certain things that I want to do. Like I can be an actor, I can be a comedian. Yes, and I still got to. I eventually found out I got to juggle a 9 to 5 job. I got to do both, but it's possible, you know. So,
Absolutely.
but that's where I started realizing, these influence around me. I was like, okay, this is what I want to do, but I didn't know who, what, or
They were our teachers. They were our motivators in a certain kind of way.
I googled everything.
It's that idea that a lot of people throw in away. And I don't think it's an idea. I think a lot of experts even agree when it comes down to millennials that a lot of us were raised by the TV, you know? But I think it's different in my opinion because it's not just that we were raised by the TV. We were raised by our parents as well. If you think about like all of the parties you went to, all of the family gatherings, everything, like we weren't just stuck in front of the TV because our parents were never around, you know? But when it came down to inspiration, when it came down to motivation, it was those TV shows, those comedy, those death comedy jams, those classics, all of that was a huge motivator for us, especially artistic kids.
You're absolutely right. And the number
Yeah.
one thing that I would add to that was the quality of TV was different.
It was
The
incredible. It was
quality
incredible. It was
was
so
different.
smart and so witty
You got
and
the dumb comedy, you have the
love
smart
it.
comedy, you have the family episodes, but they was real rounded with substance and funny and silliness. So the quality of it that we was absorbing was I would say a proper quality to digest rather than
Yes.
now there's so much of everything and you can easily just get stuck to one type of
To
quality
one
of
type of thing.
comedy
And
that you
oh
like.
my God, you just brought something that I wanted to say because the reason why I asked for your like I asked you, hey, what are your inspirations? It's because your show, which let's talk about that, right? Like your show was incredible to watch. Honestly, I didn't know what to expect. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
I was like, if this brother's whack, I'm gonna have to keep it real now.
I'm gonna cancel this interview.
No, not even cancel it. No, not cancel. I'm not an asshole. I'm not an asshole.
But you would
No,
be
what
like,
I
"Hey,
was
I
thinking
hired a comedy coach for this." Just, I'm not saying you need it. It
is
will.
gonna go into the route of like resources and like give you like, oh, and by the way, you should also
Here's 5 comedy classes that are free. Actually, here's one that I paid for you. Merry Christmas.
I'm also gonna connect you with a friend. No, you first of all, the transition from the comedy to then the rapping to then playing the guitar. Hold up. Playing the guitar. That's when I was like looking around. I'm like, is nobody here watching this with me? No, nobody was. But I was like, I would have been there. I probably would have started crying because there were moments of like real emotions. You were doing so much. I had never seen anything like that. I'm gonna be honest with you because that I like to consider myself at least, okay, how did I got into all of this? I went to school in the Bronx. I went to John F. Kennedy High School. Shout out to John F.
Woo-hoo.
Kennedy. And I used to be part of like the whole drama,
Nice,
part of the drama set. I did 2 musicals there. It's How I Met My Best Friend, who is also a musician.
nice.
Karina Zachary is the lead singer of a band called Husbandry, and she's my best
Yeah.
friend. We met on stage. Shout out to Karina. We met on stage. We met doing a production of Dreamgirls, where I was Dina Jones and she was playing Michelle. And I really love when people can show all of their facets.
Mm.
And that goes back to what you were just saying, right? Like people think they only supposed when it comes down to art or being artistic, that they only should be doing one thing. And you're right. I think a lot of us millennials, which is why if you notice on social media, most of the influencers that are millennials do a lot of other things. They do
Yes.
a lot of other things. The Gen Zers tend to do one thing really well, and that's become influencers.
Yeah.
But the ones that we're constantly seeing online, you can tell that there's this difference between
Yeah.
millennials that grew up with the kind of art that you and I are talking about and the direction that they want to go and that they want to take their comedy. To some that are Gen Z that only really see themselves as like very limited to the whole influencer vibe.
Yeah.
And of course, because we grew up on that, we just don't want to stay just doing talking heads on social media. We know we're artists. We know we
Mhm.
want to express all those other facets of us, right?
Yeah.
And I love your show because of that. Like it was so amazing. Like, do you still play guitar? You're still doing that? Can I expect to see that in October?
Oh, absolutely. What you saw in the show, you're gonna see it now live in October, and it's gonna be tweaked with certain things, right? As I keep on doing it everywhere, it keeps on getting tweaked where I could do it better. But what you saw was literally 90% of the show, and now the 10% I'm still tweaking it. So my goal, right? Naturally, the more you keep doing things, by the time October hits, it's gonna be like a well-oiled machine, and like what you saw from YouTube is gonna be something totally different, feeling wise, by the
Yeah,
time you see it live. Because it was funny,
yeah.
my cousins, and the reason why I say that too, one not only for me, that was the first time that my cousins, they, like you, saw just saw the stuff that I did online. They never saw me in live because my cousins, they have like 6 kids, so they both work and all that stuff.
60.
They got like a Jackson family, so they just didn't have the time. But this time around, they had time and they came, and they was blown away. They was like, they told me like in private and stuff like that, what you do on stage, I felt it when you would do it like on video, but live, bro, you was something else. Like
It was incredible. It
it
was
was
incredible. And
different.
I'm not just saying that. I'm honestly saying that because I
I
was a
could
little
see it. I
afraid. I
could
was
see the
like,
genuine. I could see the
it
live.
was it was so good. It was so good. And you heard it from the people too. You heard the Q&A was smart. I love when small theaters like that gather the community and people can ask questions to the artist. I love that. My sister does the same thing. Shout
Yeah.
out to Catherine. My sister, my little sister is a dancer and she just puts these productions together, also bringing the community together. She does a similar thing with the Q&A. And honestly, I love that because I got a chance to actually hear people's reaction because I myself am watching on TV. I'm here yelling like, "Hey, how did what happened when you wrote that? Like, where were you mentally?"
I love the Q&As, especially when I was in the workshop phase of the show,
Yeah,
because it allows me to see where I'm at. Well, how is it affecting the crowd? How is
yeah,
it affecting you? Because I know it helped me and I know it affected me. So I know it's gonna hit you somehow. So I would like to know where and how, what affected you. And by the time I get that phase, I already did like 20, 30 drafts of the show, like writing it, right? So by the time I get to a place of like, okay, I'm ready now to now hear it out loud, that's what I did. I set up 2 workshops, one in New York and then one in Tucson, Arizona. Cause now I'm like, I'm getting ready to do this next year. But I love the Q&As because it allows me to connect to the audience even more to be like, hey, What did you think? What did you connect to? And it opens Pandora's box where you hear the effects. And then people
And
who
it's
were
live,
scared,
which is
it's live.
amazing.
And
Yeah.
people who were afraid to raise their hand, best believe on the line, they're giving me a hug, they're whispering, yo, man, when you talked about your dad, man, like I got a whole, like, because they were either afraid to talk about it or the text messages that I got. Like, hey, when you talked about this thing and I related to because XYZ. And I'm gonna be honest, that's something that money cannot buy me. Like, I don't do this for money. I don't make a lot from it. I do it one for me because this is what I truly genuinely love to do. And then the reaction that I get hearing people, man, you made me laugh, you made me cry, just knowing that I made them feel something. And then they think about their own life. Because I know what it is to feel alone. I know what it is to feel like you're stuck in your own world, or maybe you scared to go talk to a therapist. But at least this could be a stepping stone for you to relive certain moments in your life through me, like a mirror.
And I did. Imma be honest, I did. When you were talking I wanna go back to the community part
Well, yeah,
because I really like when you were talking about where you grew up, your environment, and how you were mentioning, like, it wasn't all bad. Like, you don't remember feeling like, threatened by anything. Obviously, we weren't in the best conditions. That's
right,
obvious. That is that
right,
is
right.
very obvious. We weren't in the best conditions. But it wasn't the way it's constantly being portrayed. I remember telling my friends who are not from New York or are not from a city like this, like New York. They're like from either the suburbs
Yeah,
or they're from another country out there. You
yeah,
know what
yeah.
I mean? They come to New York and they want to live this whole fantasy life and stuff like that. And I tell them like, listen, whatever you heard about the hood is ridiculous. Go and visit, go and eat some food out there, go and meet people that are not downtown, just like yourself. There's
Hey,
nothing really bad going on. Now it's gentrified, so it's a little bit different. They're not gonna get a lot of that authenticity. They're still gonna find people just like them. But I remember telling my friends like, I don't remember feeling bad. I loved everybody in my community.
it was
Shout
look.
out to 135th Street. Shout out to Harlem. Shout out to all of them. My brothers, my cousins.
You ready? You wanna know how we're more even more connected now? You ready? You ready to hear this? So when I moved in with my wife, ask me where she lived at.
Where did she live?
Right? 130 Riverside. Riverside and
Right
Broadway.
on Riverside.
Right on the one train.
Oh my
I was
God.
there for we lived she was born and raised there, but I lived with her there
Get
for like
out of here. I was raised here. Oh my God. We probably crossed paths so many times. Shout out to Cloud. Shout out
yeah.
to Cloud because we got to
Wow.
talk about Cloud in a bit, but
Yeah,
shout
yeah,
out to
yeah.
Cloud. She's amazing.
We're such a small world. I lived there for like, what was it, 4 or 5
That's
years
crazy.
before we moved over here. Yup.
There was historical place. I used to work there, and right across the street from it was Blue Jeans from
Nice.
back in the days in the 2000s. I actually met a lot of those hip hop guys in those stores. I met Redman came in. Believe it or not, I'm not even joking. I wish I had a camera, but I was working back then, and we didn't have those fancy phones that y'all
Yeah.
have now back in those 2000s. Okay, but I met Deion Sanders prime time, and I also
Nice.
met Mike Tyson, who's one of my favorite boxers of all
Mike
time.
Tyson grew up where I grew up,
And
Brownsville.
Brownsville. So, hello, fellow New Yorkers. You know what I mean? Like, this community was so awesome. It was so live. It was so Latino. It was very black. And, like, I loved it. We were a culture and it was a lot of fun. I don't really remember. I mean, there were things that happened that were kind of like, hey, yo.
Yeah.
But I honestly never felt unhappy here. I never felt threatened. It was a good experience for the most part.
I agree with you 1,000,000%. And I think the danger was always a possibility. And it
Of
was it
course.
was it was always a possibility. It was something on your radar that you was aware of that out of all the places is highly happened here because it can happen here because it has happened before. But I can talk about that, which I do in my show, but I also want to talk about the good too. There was a lot of good people and community around me that at that time, which I felt like we lost now as a humanity, that we looked out for each other. Like there was,
100%.
like I still consider myself, bruh, black, like Afro Latino, because before I met other Spanish people, which wasn't a lot at that time, who took me in? The black people, my black sisters, my black brothers, the black teachers. It was like combining the cultures. And it's
Hmm.
like combining the cultures, but also like, yo, you are one of us and we are one of you. We're here together and we got to make it work.
We're
Like,
being oppressed together, brothers.
right. You know what
Brothers
I'm
and
saying? And
sisters.
I think also,
My brown and black brothers.
yeah. I don't even think like thinking back, like the skin color thing was a big fucking thing to us. We just saw you was a good person, you funny, let's hang out, crack jokes, and eat ham and cheese heroes. Like it was like let's eat some dipsy doodles,
I
drink
was
some Dipsy
downtown
Coke.
too. I was downtown since high school. I was hanging around Union Square since high school.
And anytime I do a show, pay homage to that. Yes,
Yes,
on record,
yes,
on record, it is known historically as a bad neighborhood. And I will make note that it is tough. And I had these certain characters. But guess
of
what?
course.
I also had good people that molded me, that also
Yeah.
watched out for me. and my family, and we looked out for each other. And I'm gonna shine a light on that too. And if I had to do it all over again, I would, because it made me who I am. I would not. All the
100%.
lessons that I learned from the streets and being in the projects cannot be taught at the school. And I'm glad
100%.
that I learned those lessons because it made me a better person, how to read energy. Yeah, I got trauma when even now, I live in a nice area in Arizona, but I still carry the trauma of like, don't trust him. Like, why he thinks it?
That's a good thing considering some of my friends that come from those like very shelter environments and those these bubbles that they live in, and they come here to New York and they don't get into these dangers, and thank God that nothing crazy happened to them. But I'd be
Right,
like, yo, you
but
got lucky.
there's nothing wrong
Learn
with
to have judgment.
right. Exactly. It's preparing you to read
Yeah.
energy that have judgment. That goes a long way,
Hell
right?
yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. To the moment that I have meetings with white men in suits for business stuff that I want to do with my show, I can look at them and be like, I saw this person before, but he wasn't wearing a suit. He was wearing a do rag and he had a gun on him. He tried to
Yeah.
rob me one time. Wait, I know this person. This dude was my friend who talks a lot of shit and he thinks he's gonna get away with anything.
Everybody growing up in those environments, we gain a sense of like strength and we get a
Mm-hmm.
sense of like maturity
Yup.
and understanding of life that I'm very lucky to have. And like you said, yes, there are traumas that we all experience
Yeah.
living in that kind of situation. But I also believe that
There's a lot of beauty.
there's a lot of beauty in it. Yep. In the people, in the way we treated each other, in the fact that we looked out for each other, and how funny things were, right? You know,
It
it
builds
was part of the culture.
it
It
builds your
was awesome.
character.
It
It
built
builds
your character. It
it's
was
tough
like,
skin. Crack jokes, bro. Take a joke.
and that's another thing too. A lot of great jokes, a lot of people pushing their buttons, but not being, crazy. But yeah, every once in a while, you saw somebody, like you remember that movie, Do the Right Thing?
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies of all time. I own that film. It's one of my favorite fucking films. Is amazing. I remember watching that for the first time when I was in film school and going like, yes, this is the kind of films I want to do. This
Right.
is the kind of stories I want to tell. And I could see that that is the same thing you're doing right now.
Exactly.
What goes into putting a production like that? Because you said that this show we're about to see in October is going to be a lot like that, right? You're going to make some tweaks, but it's going to be a lot like that. So I wonder, like, first of all, there has to be a concept. So how do anything like that comes together?
Yeah, I think for me it was that prior to this one show, this one man show, I did two other one man shows. And it just goes down to like, what do I want and my creativity. And I asked myself that when I started doing stand up. And yeah, in the beginning, I started with the dick jokes and stuff like that. And it really didn't have substance. I love a good dick joke. I still tell them to this day. But I wanted to be like, well, what about the dick joke? What are you insecure? Let's talk about that. Like I wanted to match it
Yeah,
with a
a
genuine
good old dick joke.
jokes are great. That's where I started. And I think for me, it was like, okay, you're learning, you're growing, but deep down, I wanted to do more. I wanted to have substance in the material that I'm saying. So that's where I started the path of like, I want to do a one man show. And when I do the one man show, I want to combine all the elements that I love to do to tell the story: poetry, music, storytelling, stand up, improv moments, probably with the crowd, like just a package of everything. And it wasn't to entertain anyone. It was like, if I'm going to do this, this is what I want to do. Because each one of these elements had its own time to shine: the acting, the improv, the stand up, like individually. But now I want to put it all together. So now, cut to here's my third show. And um, I didn't do a one man show for like 6 or 7 years because of adulting and all the things with life. But I knew it was coming and I knew that I was working on it. So the idea came again. I was like, okay, I want to talk about where I'm at in this new phase of life, where fatherhood.
I love that story about how you and Cloud met. I love it. And I love that name. It just sounds so sweet.
Right.
Her name
Don't
is
let that shit
Cloud.
fool you, though. No, she's
That's
very,
just that name.
she's very. She has one of the biggest hearts in the world. I tell her to this day, bless your heart, because sometimes,
But I love that story. I love that story. I felt the pain that you
yeah,
guys went through
yeah,
with
and it's
conceiving the first
yeah,
time.
and it's a true story. I wanted to um I wanted to tell that story. I wanted to tell the story of where I'm at presently and fatherhood, which is something new, and what that opened up for me, thinking that I thought that I was good with my father relationship when I refound him, but that opened up a whole can of worms. And then finding out I'm going to become a father, that it opened up even more wounds. Like, how can I be a father if I didn't have one around me? Yeah, like,
And a very honest question too.
you know what I'm saying?
Very
Like,
honest, yeah.
I do want to. I know I'm equipped to learn and grow, but it's still a hole inside of me of like, I never had one to show me that these are the ropes. So like when I have questions, who am I gonna go to? When the one that I supposed to go to is not, it wasn't even a president of my life. So it was like legit questions that I was asking or insecurities that I had that every father would have, even if you had a great father, right? So if you have a
Mm,
great father, you're probably questioning, how can I live up to the man that raised me? You know? So everybody has their own insecurities. So that was my thing. So I wanted to talk about that. And then I thought about shit. There's gonna be a whole new audience. There's gonna be an audience that will remember the first two shows, but then a whole new audience that won't even know me. So then I was like, oh shit, I gotta talk about how I got here, where I was born and raised. So the whole process started is writing, knowing that like what I want to kind of write, and then going through the process of writing it and allowing the script to work on my trauma, to face the good and bad, to find healing, to find
yeah.
peace, to find laughter, to find joy, to find some lessons and acceptance. So that's the first main process of it to putting together is the writing and the therapeutic sessions that you're getting with the writing. Then eventually the script will tell you, now you wrote these couple drafts for you. Now we got to shape it into a show. And then realizing like, oh shit, I don't really need this because that was for me. But now I'm going to talk about this. And then also telling myself, I'm letting you in the process. Also telling myself, what do you want to see in here, Rick? Well, I want to do music, but this time when I do music, I want to go deeper and I want it to be better. I want to share very hard truths because it was very hard for me to face those truths in the writing and prior to the writing in real life. I don't want to shy away from it. But there's a moment in there, you know what I'm talking about, in the hospital
Mm,
with the child.
mm.
I did not want to shy away from that. Because that moment bothered me.
It was yeah, it was a deep moment, like, I was just, like I was sitting almost, like, in front of, like I was, like, just sitting in front of my laptop just going, like, "Oh my god, what's gonna happen?" Like, it was insane, like, it was so well done, and I like that you had different scenes too. Like, is that what you had in mind? Like, is that how you pictured it? Like, different scenes, did different things from the music to the rapping to the spoken words to the comedy?
I think it was through trial and error. I
Okay,
one of my friends told me this within the first show that I did in 2015 called The Naked Truth. He was like, I don't know if you realize, but you found your voice within the show. You found a format that works for you. Because to the other shows, I did have the same format in a sense of like whoever sees me, I know he gonna crack jokes. I know he gonna get serious. I know he gonna do poetry. I know he gonna sing. I know he gonna make me cry. But when and how he's gonna put those things in there. I'm writing it out now as just telling the story, and then I start seeing the scenes as I'm writing and re-editing it as I go. But then
yeah,
so for instance, let's take the beginning. That was like one of my favorite things of the show is how I'm able to break down my environment from block to block to block. So that was the first thing that I was scoping. And I literally was like, okay, while I'm telling the story, how can I paint this picture to bring me there and to see it? So when I talk about Mr. Hallelujah, or I talk about Hide Your Shit James, Miss McCants from my school that was 10 blocks away from
I
my
love that teacher.
school. I'm like, how can I bring you now into my world? And how can I
Yeah.
so those scenes naturally came out just naturally doing storytelling. And what I would do, right? I would take these bits and pieces of the show and I will work them out as storytelling shows because they only give you like 5 minutes and I will work it out
Right.
there to tell a story with different themes. But yeah, I think the process, to be honest, was a mixture of a lot of things that what goals of what I want to accomplish. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to learn from this? And don't be afraid to be vulnerable and go there because
Yes.
they also going to be, damn, he's going there. So it was a long process of just facing things and it started, you know, the show, I say this to this day, the show has a spirit. The show is a living spirit where it's going to tell you, hey, we got to fix this. Hey, we got to do this better. And it tells you what it needs and it knows already. So as I continue to write and create, I start realizing that I have a platform of what I like to, a foundation of how I like to tell stories. So naturally, I create a foundation of doing scenes, doing characters, doing all these things that I love to do in my own life. Now, how can I do it in the show?
I don't know, it felt vulnerable, and there were funny moments, and there were characters in there that you can connect with. Like, I like the characters of your teacher. I
Mm,
like how I connected a lot with your love story as well. I don't have kids, but I did connect. You were so vulnerable, and so it was so vivid the way you were describing every feeling, every moment, even the hospital scene, like, everything that was happening. Like, I connected with it, even if I myself don't know what that's like, you know what I mean? And that's the whole point of putting these types of productions together, right? Like I remember when I was like taking acting classes at Raul Julia, which was a conservatory in Spanish Harlem. It was an amazing Amazing experience and one of the best experience I ever had. I had a chance to perform from Emilia Colon, who was the director at the time. She, by the way, if you don't know who Miriam Colon
Girl, you
is,
better put some
she
hand claps for you. You better get that audio effect.
there were good moments. There were good moments in my life for sure. But she actually, and I do have a picture of that just in case people, I'm gonna put it up when I edit it.
Put it,
But she played the mother of Tony Montana in Scarface, just in case you guys don't know who she is.
bro.
Amazing actress, theater actress,
You wanna
and
know?
she was
You wanna?
one of the. She gave me so many great advice, and she was so influential. She has some great teachers there, and it's sad because again, going back to community, that's what made that conservatory so beautiful. And Raul Julia knew that when he created it. And the Puerto Rican Traveling Theater was part of it as well.
The Puerto Rican traveling there. I performed there. That's where my first show was at.
But now it's not as live as it used to be. I would like to do kind of like, some form of reporting on it and put it on my channel and see what's been going on, what's happening in New York with these places that used to be so affordable and so accessible for people like us who really don't come from families that could just drop thousands of dollars on schools, right?
Yeah.
And those theaters, those conservatories were so special because they were run by people who were really passionate
Yep.
about acting. And a lot of what I learned, I saw in your production, like just the way you got so vulnerable, just the way that you express yourself. Did you ever take any like lessons or anything like that?
Absolutely. I took acting classes. I took improv classes. I'm pro classes all the way, especially
Hell yeah.
if
Great
it
way to meet people as well
get ready to
too and
meet people
connect.
and to
Yeah.
work the craft.
And to
But I'm gonna
work.
be
Yeah.
honest, number one class that taught me the most was putting myself out there on that stage. That was the ultimate teacher. So when I tell, so we both love down in Rollins. When I started doing stand-up comedy in New York, he had a open mic room he had a show that he would do on Mondays there at the Laugh Lounge. And I will be around so many different comedians that I saw on the Dave Chappelle show. And I was a huge fan of the Dave Chappelle show. So my world was blown. That I'm like, this is it. Not realizing the struggle and the years and the commitment that's going to take to be creative artists, right? But I was new. I was having fun. I met Donnell, and because I just wanted to watch the show. And I said, Donnell, I'm a huge fan of yours. Is there any advice would you give to up and coming comedian? And I'm expecting this monumental advice from him, and all he says is, "Yeah, keep going on stage, son." And he walks away. So then I remember just staying there now by myself and I repeated, just keep going on stage, son. Hmm. Okay. Right.
It sounds just like it too. I believe you.
Right. So I'm like, okay. I met another comedian from the Dave Chappelle show. If I show you a picture, you'd be like, oh, I know him. So anyway, and so I meet him. He's upstairs in the same place. I'm like, yo, man, I'm a huge fan of yours, blah, blah, blah. He's like, you a comedian? I said, yeah, yeah, yeah. He's a welcome to the struggle, motherfucker. And then he walks away. So now here I am.
Comedians, yo.
Now I'm there once again by myself, and I repeat the words, welcome to the struggle, motherfucker.
They
Okay.
just giving you materials. You know that,
They
right?
giving me, gems, all the stuff. But at that time, it's like, I want something more, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I quickly learned, well, not quickly, I realized and I learned that the biggest teacher is the stage. The biggest teacher is getting up in front of a crowd, is you putting in the time to your craft, whether it's classes, whether it's you doing stand up, whatever it is,
That's very true.
you have to put in the time. And eventually, you could take all these acting classes, but eventually you still have to go on the stage and act. So keep going on stage, son, is a great lesson and advice because now when people come up to me and storytelling or whatever, it's like, what advice would you give? Be yourself, have fun, and keep going on stage. That stage is the ultimate teacher. That stage is going to teach you so much because you're going to have different crowds. You're going to have different versions of yourself as you continue to work on it. But it's going to mold you and shape you, and it's going to teach you. So record everything. And when you go home, watch yourself. Even if you suck, even if you do good, watch yourself because that is the best teacher, the stage and watching the footage. But ultimately, I'm going to be honest, man. It wasn't until I started doing the work and going on stage that was the ultimate teaching.
That's the best teacher is actually putting it out there, which is something I'm learning myself as well. Give me 1 second. Let's pause here real quick. We're back. Yeah, that's something that I'm also learning to get back into the flow of things. I think I mentioned earlier that there's a reason why I started all of this, right? Like I have that 9 to 5 we were talking about earlier that our parents wanted us to have. My mom was very supportive. My mom is a great dancer and she is just artistic naturally. She's just
Yeah.
a very lovely person. And but she couldn't always be there to your point. They can't be our parents just couldn't always be there to motivate us. So the only advice they gave her was like, make sure you go to school, make sure you get a job.
Okay, right.
That's the only thing they had time for. They had time for all that extra shit. And, you know, I I feel like that's one of the things I definitely feel I need to go back into, and that's why I started this podcast, is because I kind of wanted to put myself out there. And we kind of had the best of both worlds if you think about it, right? We can do the life things because we lived in that world. We are millennials, we come from that. So us going into the community, us going into the world is not difficult to us. We're actually very lucky to have that experience. And not only that, to have the experience to create it ourselves as well. But you putting on show is bringing on the community if you think about it. You're bringing people together and you're creating an environment where people can actually go and see things live and they don't have to be at home fucking doom scrolling. You know what I mean? Me doing this is wanting to expose what you're doing. Hey, Rick Herrera has a show coming up in October. Head over there, go and see him live, go and get tickets, follow him on Instagram so you can know when he has his next show. That is the things that I want to start doing because I myself know I'm going to hit that streets real soon.
You
And it's
got
not
to.
gonna be easy, and you gotta sometimes lead with what you can do first. And the reason why I'm doing the YouTube stuff first is because that's what I do for a living at work, right? But now I had to, so it comes easy to me to just set this shit up. But then I have to set this foundation so that I can then use this foundation that I had already set up to kind of push myself to want to do a bit more. Even my brother, like really quickly, shout out to Alan. My brother played ball his entire life. I never not see my brother play the sport.
Yeah.
He was always that's something I do give my mom. She did try her best being a single parent. And my brother right now, what is he doing? Fast forward to the future. He's coaching. He's coaching kids in high school. He's coaching kids in middle school and he's coaching kids in college. Like he has a basketball program. You know what
Yes.
I mean? Like he's saying, well, I did this for years. Yeah, I know
Nice.
what it's like to coach. I know what it's like to be an athlete. I know what it's like to practice what practice, practice, practice. So when the game comes, you're already ready. Like he already been through that. Whether it was in Dominican Republic playing ball out there, or whether it was here in New York when he was playing ball in college, playing ball in high school, his whole community has been to his games where
Yep.
he's coached. His communities have showed up. That was my brother's way of bringing the community together. And I love being around people like that. You know what I mean? So I told myself, I'm like, I can't just be this corporate shell of a person.
You can.
I can't do this anymore. This is killing me. It literally was killing me, Rick.
I believe
I
it.
couldn't I couldn't sleep at night. I
I believe it.
couldn't breathe a lot of times. I
I,
was getting panic attacks and anxieties because I
I believe
wasn't
it.
fulfilling my purpose. And I'm not just bringing this up to be dramatic. This is exactly what was happening to me.
I believe it. Same thing happened to me. Same thing happened to me. For years, I kept on putting these dreams on hold. Like from the beginning, right? Then the knee surgery happened, and then I got into stand up eventually. But let's just take the most recent one. This show was, yes, I was adulting and doing all these things, and I didn't perform a one man show for 7 years, but it kept on haunting me at night, every day, or every other day, or every month. It'll come up. Hey, keep working on the show. Keep working on the show. Keep working on the show. Like it was there. It was there. And there was a time when we moved over here that I didn't perform anything for the first 2 years that we got here because transitions, adulting, we had one car, cause to travel everything. So that car had to take us everywhere. Our daughter to school. We're far away from a lot of things. So I couldn't move to do improv, poetry, whatever. So the reason why I'm bringing that up, I wasn't happy fully. I'm happy that we was able to get a home to live that American dream of getting a home, our daughter, a new environment for ourselves. We're in a new state. We
But
love
it's
the
not it. It's not the
views,
same.
so it's like all that stuff is like amazing. But
Yeah, of
one of the and I'm happy with my wife, like I'm married, right?
course.
I'm
Yeah.
living this American dream that we always heard of from our parents or whatever.
Yeah.
We got it, but I wasn't fully happy because for those 2 years of trying to transition and figure out, okay, I got to get a job. We got to now maintain this American dream. My other lifetime dreams of just performing has now been on hold for my wife too, because she's a very artistic person. I was literally, part of me was depressed. A part of me was sad, and I wasn't fully happy. And it wasn't until 2 years ago, and I told my wife, it was in December. I was like, hey, I'm just letting you know because now we're able to get now we was blessed to get two cars now. So I got one, she got one, and we got some breathing room. So I told her, I said, hey, I signed up to this improv class, and it starts on I think February 1st. I need to play again. I need to laugh. I need to be a kid. And the reason why I chose this improv place, because it says learn to be a kid again and play. And I need that. I don't want to remember any scripts. I don't want to remember anything. I just want to be a kid and play off the cuff and just create and get the brain going. Because in improv, there's no thinking. You just do.
You
You
just
yes
do.
and just
Yeah.
do. And I said, I'm going back to do what I love and I'm going to start here. I need this. And she was like, wow, that's great. That's amazing. Yeah, do it. But I need it too. I was like, well, bitch, look for your own improv. I was like, I got mine. Mine is on Sundays and I'm going on Sundays. And I remember the guy says, oh, you start finding your community again. And I did. I started finding people in storytelling. I started finding people in poetry. And once again, everything that I had in New York that I left, I started getting again back now in Arizona. And then I remember the day that all those pieces came together and I was doing poetry one day, improv one day, I was doing improv shows, storytelling, and then I started working on my show silently. My wife knew, but I was working on a new one-man show. And I remember I looked at my wife and I'm like, I'm happy again. I feel like me now because everything that I had in New York, it's now here. And the only piece I needed was the creative community.
Yep.
So
Oh,
it's
I'm
just like
feeling
with
it.
you
I'm
and just
feeling
like
it in
with
my
me.
bones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like with you and just like with me, I can't stay with it for too long because it's part of my spirit, it's part of my DNA.
So as much as I love my job and shout out to any of the people that either I work with or they're a part of that digital marketing community. Shout
Shout
out
out
to
to the
them. I do
digital.
love them. I do love you guys, but it's not me. And I feel like I'm not being me when I'm around.
Yeah, and that's okay. That's a
And
part of you.
that's exactly. I've learned to adapt. Let's just put it that way. Let's just put it that way. It's not so much that it's not you, it's that you learn to adapt to the circumstances around you because you have no choice, right? You still have to make friends, you still have to have colleagues, you still have to go to work. So at the moment right now, until shit pops up, you know what I mean? You got to adapt to the circumstances.
I think it also goes down to like, look, I'm a project manager and that's what I've been doing for so many years. That's my 9 to 5. It's a career that fell in my lap after college. Not what I learned. I learned because of my brother. This is what he does. And I'm thankful for him to tell me, well, you could chase your
Shout out
dreams,
to
but
the
you also gotta
brother.
yo, shout out to my brother. You can have your dreams, but you also gotta pay bills. So, he taught me that early
Exactly.
on. And I'm glad that I didn't push it away. I embraced it. So it made me realize that okay, I have many layers. There's nothing wrong for me to put on this mask from 9 to 5 and do the work, and I'm good in that career path. But I also realize and know that this is
Exactly.
not fooling me, right?
Exactly.
Outside of this world, when I take it off, I'm a comedian, I'm an actor, I'm a writer, I'm a storyteller, I'm a husband, I'm a father, and all those things can exist in that world. And I had to learn that I can't let it go. I have to keep doing it. And I also realized early on that if I could put 8 hours into a work, then I have no excuse to put at least 30 minutes to an hour into something that I love because I need to do it. It's for me. So you got to ask yourself the question too, Anna, what is for you? What do you want? And you should not allow anyone to get in the way
Well,
of
that
that.
goes into my second question, right? Like, how do you quiet the negative thoughts? How do you quiet the demons telling you, like, you're too late, you're too stupid, you're too late?
The way you quiet down that voice is simple. It's very simple. You got to do it. You got to do it. When you're thinking these thoughts,
They can
are you
bring the demons with you. They'll have fun too.
right? Right. Well, you're thinking these thoughts, Anna. Are
Yeah,
you doing anything creative when you think these thoughts? No.
you're
So
right.
of course these thoughts are gonna be there,
You're
and the
right. You're right.
insecurities are there. But guess what? The moment you start doing it, do you think the voices are gonna disappear? No. They're
Because
gonna
that's when they go harder.
they could, it could. It's a possibility. But I guarantee you, you're going to tell those voices, I hear you, but I don't believe you because I'm doing it. And most importantly, I'm doing it out of love. And most importantly, I'm having fun. And the voices are going to slowly go away. Okay. But we still going to be here. And the more you keep doing it, the lower the voices get. I still get those doubts. I still get those fears. I shared a video today about that. But I don't look at it as it's bad. I look at it now that it's good because it's testing me and it's challenging me to keep doing the best that I can do and to get better in what I'm doing and to keep trying and to keep having fun.
Yeah,
Because you know what?
I think that's amazing. Yeah,
Those voices are very loud
there
when
are,
you're
and
not
they're annoying.
there, but they're very loud when you're not doing anything active to give them fuel.
Percent right. It's something that I have to learn to just like again adapt to. Right, like to your point, they're there because I'm not doing anything.
But this, and then I also want you to realize that they're still going to be there. But the difference is it's going to be lower, and you're going to be like, I hear you, I embrace you, but I'm having fun. They're still going to be there, but now you're going to tell those fears, I hear you, I embrace you, but guess what? I'm having fun and it's coming out of love. This is what I love to do.
I
Right now,
think that that is the most amazing advice that you can give, and that brings me to my last question, actually. What would be your advice if somebody came up to you and be like, "Man, I wanna do the comedy thing too, bro.
are you ready for it?
I'm ready. Let's go."
I'm gonna go deep here and I might get emotional, but it's okay. So my sister died from brain cancer,
Sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry.
but she's still around. She's still here spiritually. Just physically, she's gone. My sister died from brain cancer. This was about 3 years ago. She was not only a sister, but she like was a mother. You know, she also was a singer because she used to be in the room a lot, sing and dance. And I also noticed as I got older, like that was my sister's safe space. But she had skills, and I think like she had a lot of insecurities about it, right? So she didn't pursue it, which we all do. And I could see it where it got in the way. But she was a great mother. She had a lot of great qualities. She was a pain in the ass sometimes, but she was a protector too for me. Um, when she passed away, it was very tough. It was very unexpected. And when she got diagnosed, she like died within a month. My sister gave me a big gift. And that whole realization that when she passed, the gift that I got was that even if I'm scared to do something or I have fears to do something, that I have the opportunity to do it because I'm alive. My sister doesn't have that opportunity anymore. She doesn't have the gift of living to even try to attempt to try. So she did die with those same fears that you spoke about. She did die with the same doubts that one day I still get sometimes or even had in the past. But it would be a disservice to not try to do what I love and go after my dream and use this gift of living. Because if my sister had another chance and if the higher power came to her and be like, hey, we're going to heal these things for you, but we want you to sing and we want you to dance. It could be in the
Yeah.
house, but we want you to use those gifts because we noticed that you stopped and it brought you
Yeah.
joy. But we're going to heal these things, but you gotta make sure you do it. I can guarantee you that my sister would have took that like, you got it. That's all I got to do. So I think a lot of the times we make things harder for ourselves than what it has to be. And yes, we do have doubts, we have fears, but the ultimate gift that we have is the gift of living that we have the chance to try. And sometimes we don't need to hear this diagnosis because guess what? Unfortunately, that was in my sister's timeline that was how she was going to transition. You have a timeline of when you're going to transition. I have a timeline where I'm going to transition. We all do. But one thing that I'm going to make sure is that I'm going to keep trying to go after everything that I want to do with the fears and with the doubts until it's my time to go. I don't want to live knowing that I could have and I should have when I never tried.
That is beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. I felt everything you just said. I really am looking forward to meeting you and your wife in October when you guys come to New York. That's already in my like I'm blocking that day. That's already blocked months in advance now. Because if I had an advice to give people is don't do what I did. Don't do what I did. Like it's okay to have a job and it's okay to go after the things you want.
Let me also correct you on something too. You keep on saying attempting, you keep on saying don't do what I did, but I want you to realize, be careful with the words you say, because it's almost as if like you threw in the towel somehow, and that everything you're doing now is not sufficient. And I want you to realize that I want people to do what you did. I want people to do what I did because it's showing you that you care about this gift and creativity and that it still haunts you that you got to do it. So yeah, and I want you to give yourself grace because you are not there anymore. Because when I look into the camera, I don't see you at work. I see a mic in front of you. I see your headphones, and I see you talking to somebody. So to me,
No, we already started. You're right. I get that a lot from people. I get that a lot from people that the way I speak is the reason why I'm having so much doubt. Like I need to start talking like I own the shit already. You know what I mean? And
you don't
a
even
lot
need
of
to own
people,
it. You don't even need to own it. You could be like,
you know,
I'm already.
I can be very negative. That's the thing. I can be very and that's what I need to change. I need to stop. Rick, if my brother was here, he would have been like, Rick, let her because she's right. This bitch needs to stop. She's too negative.
Just change. It's not about the negativity because you have a great spirit and a great energy. You just need to realize and you need to remind yourself. You know these affirmations we give yourself. You're great. You're powerful.
I need to start doing that. I don't do those, by the way. I suck. I need to start doing it.
What you need to do is your own
Yeah.
version of that.
Yeah.
The moment you hear yourself going, oh, I should have did this, I could have did that. You got to stop yourself and say, okay, but I am doing it. I'm on
Okay.
the path. I'm on the path. And it's
Yes.
okay to have goals, but keep reminding yourself the moment you're gonna like dump on yourself and like, oh, but I'm nowhere near this. I'm nowhere near that. Okay, you're right, but I'm on the path and I'm doing it. and I'm trying, and it may get there. But guess
Yeah.
what? We're having fun. So just correct what you say and be aware of that. Because the more you do that, the more you're gonna give yourself grace. And then you start
Yes.
to realize, yo, this is a marathon.
I thought I had one last questions, but then I looked at my notes and I was like, damn it, I had one more.
Yeah,
I
let's
had
do it.
one more. I
Let's
had
do
one
it.
more. So about journey because I actually am I'm reading a book. I'm gonna put it right here in the camera. I'm reading this book.
I
It's
heard
one of
about it.
my I recommend it. I've been reading this book since college. It's one of my favorite books. It's called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. And it's one of the most amazing books I've ever read. And I remember I saw this in my library and I recommend it, Rick. If you heard of it, I recommend it. It's very easy to read because he's telling a story and you're a storyteller. And I know you will enjoy this book a lot. He's telling the story of this kid, Santiago, who goes into this journey and the journey has a purpose. It has a purpose. And the ending, I don't want to give too much away because it is a beautiful story. The ending is so like reflective. You go back and you go like, yeah, yeah, this is exactly why we do what we do. This is exactly why the fuck we do what we do. And this is why you got to follow your purpose and not following somebody else's dream because you think that's what you're supposed to do. Right. And that book is amazing. And my last question, which was the actual last question. What journey do you find yourself in right now? Like, I know you talked about a lot. You gave a great advice. You were talking about, the show you got coming out, everything that you're producing. So, what does that all mean? Like, what journey do you find yourself on? Because it's not like you said a sprint; it is a marathon.
I'm in a journey of rediscovery of who I am as a storyteller and solo performance artist, and realizing like while I'm on this path to keep embracing who and what I am and what I love to do and discovering and researching that and re-embracing that. That's one phase. I also think I'm also on a journey of enlightenment because there's a lot of the unknown that I don't know what's going to happen with this show. Like for instance, I know in New York I have a little following and a good support system, so I can say that like tickets will be sold at a faster rate rather than other places. Here I am giving myself the opportunity and the higher power giving me opportunity. I know for a long time you want to do a show like this and that you want to do it at different locations you've never been. So I'm on a journey of enlightenment and trusting the unknown because I don't know what's going to happen. Like right now for Phoenix, we sold 60 tickets, which I'm grateful for.
Yeah,
The space can hold up to 100 people. I don't know what's going to happen the day of or the week of. Are people going to buy more tickets? Are people going to, the people who bought tickets are going to show up? I don't know, but the show must go on.
the
Whether
show must go on.
even if it's 30 people, you still got to
Yeah,
do it. I don't know who's buying tickets for the Sedona one on March 14th because I didn't do the Eventbrite. I'm with a festival doing it. I might be in a room for the 20 older white people, and that's okay. But that show is going to feel different from a show in New York. But I don't know who's going to be there. I
yeah,
don't know San Diego. I've been to San Diego to visit, and I love it. So there's so much unknown and new places that we're trying to add. There's so much unknown that I'm on that I don't that I used to trusting that I
yeah,
have no choice to trust. All I know
yeah.
how doing and trying.
You're going through it. That's what I'm saying. If you read this book, it's the same thing. Like there's moments in that book where you're reading and you go like, bro, you gotta give up. Yo, I swear, this book is so good. I've been reading it for years. If you were to tell me, Anna, list your top five, that's in it.
Yeah.
I recommend it, man, because I find myself in a similar journey as well of enlightenment, of just going forward. Whether one person view this video or 100 or 1,000, I don't care. I'm gonna come back and continue to do this. I did two other videos on my YouTube channel. Go and check out my YouTube videos on my YouTube channel. Go and like and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I have videos there. I haven't even cracked 100. I don't care. I still reached out to you because deep down inside, the next step for me, to your point, is enlightenment. Because right now, to your point, I'm being too negative. I'm doubting, I'm speaking like I'm doubting myself, like I'm giving up. You're so right. And that's because I have convinced myself that I have given up. So when I speak, I still have the residuals of that. So I'm trying to program myself to stop thinking
And
differently,
what's crazy that you're still talking like that when you're doing it.
Yeah.
You're doing the work.
Yeah. It's insane.
You're not on stage yet. Okay, you might take an acting class just to warm up. Okay.
Exactly.
Are you gonna talk negatively about that acting class? Guess what? That's what actors do. They take classes or they read scripts or they just act out by themselves in the mirror and practice something. No, that's all part of the journey. So
Yeah.
don't look down on that. You're doing it. And
Absolutely.
eventually you might do a one-woman show. And if you do, look, and if you do, I'm here to help, right? I'm here to help. And
Thank you, Rick.
No one
Oh, thank you.
came to me. No one came to me and said, "Hey, you want to do a one man show?" Like, no, it was me that came to myself. I got inspired for what I saw. I was like, "Hey, I want to do that." No one came to me and said you should do these things. I gave myself the permission to be like to dream and be like, "Yeah, I can do that. Let's try it." And
Absolutely.
eventually, you just got to keep doing it. And I wanted to
You
add
gotta keep
too.
doing it.
I wanted to add quickly too. Like we was talking about this journey and you meet people. How I met you, right? Look how we connected. I have a tendency, and it's a good tendency. My wife do this. I'm always creeping on Instagram. I'm always, I'm always searching.
Same.
I'm always searching for new people who I think, based on what I'm analyzing, who I can gel with, who gives off good energy. I have a show that I'm doing, and I would love to invite you. A lot of those people are women because I find that women, there's a little bit of men too, but a lot of men sometimes they don't follow back or they don't say anything. Women are more open. Women are more acceptable to be like, you know what? I actually like what you just showed me about your show. I'm gonna come with my girlfriend, and they bring people. And also, I grew up with women. It was my mom and my sister primarily all my life. Those were the main people in my life raising me. So I'm used to that type of energy. So I'm more comfortable going to women because they're more acceptable and to hear you out. As long as you're not trying to like send them a dick pic or whatever. Yeah,
No dick pic, fellas.
right, right. 7 out of 10 times, they hear you out or they give you a heart and be like, okay, cool. If you come
Yeah.
correct. And I always come correct. So
Yeah,
I
women tend to be a bit easier for community and for outreach than men are. Men tend to be a bit more like, man, get the fuck out of here. But yeah, most of the time online and community stuff, it's mostly women always like reaching out and
and
responding.
it's women that some most of the times is dragging the husband. Hey, I like this guy. I saw him. You gonna like him.
Drag my man to come and see your show, so there's that.
You see? And then
There's
I
that.
make a connection with the man. I'm like, yo, you funny nigga. Like,
Boricua over here, like he's Puerto Rican, by the way. Shout out to John, baby.
we
Hey
get like 20,
John.
we get like 20 shout outs today.
I love doing those. There is like he's a great singer and he's a great artist himself as well. So he will appreciate your show very, very much. But anyway, Rick, tell the people where they can find you. Let them know what you're up to. We're about
Yeah,
to wrap this up.
you could go on my website if you want, rhcomedy.com. You can check out my Instagram page at rhcomedy. And all that information is there if you want to laugh, you want to creep on me. I accept it all. Just show love and don't be an asshole.
I'm gonna be sharing all of those contacts in the description section of this video. Thank you everybody for watching. I appreciate it. Until next time.